Today, on our program of interviews with political party candidates from different political parties, we have invited Professor Channa Jayasumana, who is a candidate of Sarvajana Balaya, and he is contesting the election this time, representing the Gampa district. Welcome to the program, Professor.
Thank you very much.
So, now today you are contesting from a new political party, but you were part of the traditional political party system in Sri Lanka, and this election is conducted for the first time, the first general election being conducted for the first time at a time when people seek a departure from traditional political parties. So we have, for the first time, we have elected, we mean the Sri Lankan people have elected a president from outside the traditional political stream. So in that contest, how do you find yourself in the contest?
Kelum, although we are contesting for a new political party, our ideology is not that much new. I mean, what we are representing in the Sarvajana Balaya is the ideology introduced basically by the late SWRD Bandara in 1950s and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, which represented our ideology for almost 5 decades, more than 5 decades. Thereafter, SLPP, Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, over the ideology for the last 5-6 years. We represented SLPP too, but due to various reasons, our traditional camp was broken away, and we had to establish a new political party to represent the ideology. So that is the Sarvajana Balaya. The ideology is basically center-left political ideology with the nationalistic influence.
So, but actually, you represented the previous Gotabaya Rajapaksa government, and he was deposed from the office, and he was chased out. In fact, actually, what went wrong with that government in your view? Because you were part of that government, you even held cabinet portfolios in that.
There were several reasons. I mean, there were weaknesses on the side of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, as well as there were certain external factors. The COVID pandemic, which usually a pandemic arises in a century. We had to face for the pandemic, but with the pandemic, financial situation of the country was deteriorated, and at the same time, there were external forces which manipulate the government, especially certain Western factors and also certain groups with vested interest. They wanted to alter the government. Gotabaya Rajapaksa did not manage the situation well. He was a lack of experience, as well as he didn't hear to the people, as well as to the other members of the cabinet. And before the presidential election, we experienced that he listened to us and he obtained our views before make a decision. But following the election, his behavior was dramatically changed. He did not ready to listen to us. The views of intellectuals were neglected.
Now, Professor, at the same time, you mentioned that you represent the same traditional political ideology, but at least the people have rejected the traditional political identity, if not the ideology. So, how do you reconcile this?
Yes, it's rather correct what you say. The identity was rejected by the people, not the ideology. The thing is, people were misguided with the recent change of the JVP. People understood that now the JVP or the Malimawa NPP is representing their traditional ideology, nationalistic ideology for the moment, and that's why 6.9 million of the voters, which they vote for the Gotabaya Rajapaksa, they were during the last presidential election they deviated towards Andukumar Dissanayake. Now the people they believe the traditional ideology which they praise for the last 6-7 decades is with the NPP. Time will decide whether they really represent the ideology or not. It's a matter of time. What we feel is they are not genuinely represent that ideology because of the certain inherent issues within their party. There are two heads within their parties. It's a bipolar party. I mean, if you take the philosophy or the ideology of the NPP, there's a fraction with the Lenin Marxist theories, and as well as there's a fraction with the liberalism. Harini represents the liberal half of the party, and Andrukumar Disanayake represents the Marxist end of the party. So when you go for to settle an issue or face to a new issue, how can they face to certain issue, because they have two different ideologies in two different ends, and in this spectrum there's no place for the nationalism. So at the end, people will understand that these people will not represent their traditional ideology. So for the moment, the identity is with the NPP. Yes, it's true, but not the ideology. Ideology is with us. People will understand the thing within a short period of time.
But actually, you said your ideology is more, I mean, left of center. And
Yeah.
NPP also, more or less, it looks like that they also follow the same ideology. Actually, how do you differentiate yourself from NPP in terms of ideology in that sense?
As far as I can see, NPPs need not representing any ideology at this juncture, because there are certain factors which determine the ideology of a party. There are certain people who determine the ideology of the party. If you take the traditional JVP, they were Marx Lenin. They praised the Marx Lenin ideology for the last 5-6 decades. But what is the place for the Marxist theory within the NPP now? On the other hand, we know Harini for many years. She was a university lecturer. She clearly represented the Western Christian modernity or the Western liberal ideology. There's a spectrum of ideology within NPP. Certain people represent various places within the spectrum. If you take Tilvin Silla, the original secretary of the JVP, he is an original Marxist person. But what is his place at the moment? Nihala Basing, now the general secretary of the NPP. What is his ideology? I mean, various people come to the media and express various views. Certain views are compatible with the liberal ideology, certain views are compatible with the Marxist ideology, but in the holistic view, holistic picture, they neglect or they reject the nationalistic values of the country. But the people, they feel they represent the nationalistic ideology. So they are in a crisis, they are in a dilemma. This dilemma will come out within a very short period of time. There were recent reports that with regards to the appointment of some important institute within Sri Lanka, there was an argument between Anura and Harini. We don't know whether it's true or not. But definitely there will be a split. There will be a conflict within the party, within the NPP, because of the two ends, because of the bipolar nature of the ideology which they follow.
Actually, according to your prognosis, when will it reach the boiling point? In a year or two, or even before that?
It is amalgamated with the financial crisis. I mean, they need to go they need to go with the IMF proposals, already approved proposals, and on the other hand, Andhra Kumar Disanayake has promised various benefits for the people, but those are inconsistent with the IMF proposals. He promised to give petrol for 200 rupees. He said he will reduce the price of the liquid petroleum gas. He said he will give the rice and other consumables for a reasonable price. It means the price should be reduced with the existing price compared to the existing price, and as well as he said he will increase the salaries of the government servant in every 6 months time. So can they make these promises with the IMF proposals? There's an inconsistency. So at the end, there will be a point where Andhra Kumar need to elect whether to go with the IMF proposals or with the go ahead with those promises he made for the public. At that certain point, I think this split will be emerged.
Yes.
It will take, I don't say within weeks, within days it will happen, but my personal opinion is they will go for another 10 12 months, and the crisis will be emerged probably in next September, October.
Yes. Now, actually, my next question is about the role of Parliament. You represented the last Parliament. Actually, it was your first time in Parliament. So actually, now people talk. I mean, people say that the role of Parliament it has been. I mean, there's nothing for people to take from that. So how does that role should change in your view?
The role of the parliament within the Sri Lankan system should be questioned. Yes, it's true, because I went to parliament as a state minister. I sit the parliament as a state minister of health. During that time, initial period, initial 20 months, I mainly spent my time at the ministry because of the COVID pandemic. Thereafter, after the departure of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, I became an independent member of the parliament, and I didn't have any portfolio. But the role which I played during the last 2 years in the parliament is highly questionable. I mean, there were no duty, there were no specific tasks for a parliament member to fulfill. We represented various committees, we sit the committees and express our views, we contributed by using our academic qualification, our academic knowledge, but those were only in the reports, but not came into the action. So even though in next parliament, even in the next parliament, there may be a lot of academics, lot of intellectuals in the parliament, but there's no way to grab their contribution. There's no way to utilize these academics within the parliament system. So we need to reform the parliament system. There was a committee system in early 1930s and 1940s. There were committee system within the parliament. That system is nominally there, but those are not active in the parliament system in nowadays. So there should be a method to utilize the people, utilize the knowledge of the people, academics who represent the parliament. Otherwise, even in the next parliament, people will come and sit, discuss, and they'll leave the parliament. That's all. That is what the general public, they detect the thing and they feel the representatives of the parliament, it's just to get their all these privileges, and for the parliament lunch they are representing parliament. It is not true. I mean, there are in the picture, yes, it's true. The contribution of the members is minimal because of the nature of the parliament, because of the nature of the system. There's no way to absorb the contribution of the members. So there should be a good discussion, good reform within next 1 or 2 years time to change the existing parliament system in the country. Otherwise, in 2 or 3 years time, definitely people will blame to this parliament too, and they will say all 225 are same, and there's no change in the parliament. Or the Malimao people, they did the same thing. That will be the allegation at the end in 2 years time.
Well, actually, what are the reasons for this image of Parliament? It has suffered hugely in the eyes of the public. So, what are the reasons? Now, according to your own experience, because you represented the last Parliament. So, according to your experience, what are the reasons?
Number one is, as I previously mentioned, there's no proper mechanism to contribute to the government, to the governing mechanism. The members are deviated from the government. They are mere members of the parliament. They have the name, but there's no mechanism to absorb their skills. That's number one. Number two, the electoral system. You will see, Kelum, now I'm contesting at the Kampaha district. The number of voters is almost 2 million. How can do a campaign for 2 million people in 13 electorate in Kampaha district? The huge amount of money is needed for a campaign. So at the end, if a person gets elected to parliament, he needs to find out money to contest in the next time. Otherwise, how he contests next time? So this is become a business now. So this method should be changed. This parliament election system should be changed within next 6-7 months time, unless the same allegation will be re-emerged.
Yeah.
At the same time, the power the deviation or devolution of the power from the top to bottom, it should be rearranged, and there should be a place. The placement should be there for a member of parliament. Otherwise, he is represented from the executive level to the bottom level. He is taking advantages of various loopholes of the government mechanism, administrative system, and it's the source for the corruption.
Finally, what kind of changes do you expect to bring about in politics? Yeah.
We had a good electoral system before 1978. We need to again we need to introduce new seat system. I mean electoral system. Now at the moment we have 160 electorate in this country. Delimitation is a must. If you take Homagam electorate Kelum, the number of voters is about 200,000. If you take the Vani district, the total number of voters in the Vani district, not there are 3 administrative districts in the belong to the Vani electoral district, named Mana, Vaunia, and Mulativ. The total number of voters is about 280,000. So there's an issue with the existing system of electorate. We need to reintroduce the new system based on the population as well as the land size. Delimitation is a must, and this preferential vote system should be abolished, and new system should be introduced to minimize the corruptions, and at the same time it will allow new people to come to the politics. Following the introduction of the executive presidency system in 1978, see the number of newcomers to the politics, the majority are due to the family basis. If someone's father or mother is doing the politics, or a member of a parliament or a minister, invariably his daughter or son come to the politics, first to the provincial level, then to the national level. Other than that, there are few new politicians emerge over the last 3-4 decades time. So we need to reform the system, both the electoral system as well as the system to opportunity to make opportunity for new people to come to the politics. In fact, we praise NPP. They have allowed many new people to come to the parliament. They have opened a new channel. Nominations were given to the many academics and many intellectuals. We follow actually we also, as a Sarvajana Balaya, we also follow the same system. We submitted nomination for the whole 22 districts. Out of these nominations, we included many medical doctors, lawyers, engineers, and many intellectuals, as well as the newcomers who deal with the ground level to our nominations. And hopefully NPP and we Sarvajana Balaya both are following, we both adhere to a policy where we believe newcomers should be there in the politics. Opportunity should be given to the middle class to come into the politics.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your time. Yes.
Thank you.